Myanmar's president appears to be making good on his promise to release all political prisoners. 5 prisoners were freed a few hours ago and more are expected to be released next week. It's the result of Monday's presidential pardon for prisoners charged with high treason, contempt of government and other offences. John Blaxland is a Myanmar specialist and senior fellow at the Australian National University. He's joining us via Skype from Canberra. John, does this now mean that there are no more political prisoners in Myanmar?
No, it doesn't quite mean that. There are about 40 that are believed to be held at the moment, 200 that are facing investigation at the moment, and that are also subject to imprisonment. But it's interesting to think about what's happening at the moment, because there seems to be a significant effort placed on appearances. The government of Myanmar is working overtime at the moment to get the form right, to get the appearances right. And the timing of this release, to be fair, has been consistent with what they've promised over the last couple of years. But it also is consistent with the plan they have for 2014 to be a very significant year for Myanmar. They've got themselves the chairmanship of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, for 2014. They've just had a relatively successful Southeast Asian Games in which Myanmar came second, which is an extraordinary achievement for Myanmar. They're very proud of their achievement in their new capital, Naypyidaw. And there's a lot of effort being put into making the country look like it's successful, making the government look like it's successful. And part of this is because of the grave fear about the success of Aung San Suu Kyi's party, the National League for Democracy.
So are the moves working? I mean, with all these reforms, just how popular is President Thein Sein?
Well, this is the thing. He's actually not that popular, and he's worrying about his predicament, because he knows that Aung San Suu Kyi and the National League for Democracy really have the numbers. The elections that they're facing in 2015 for 75% of the parliament, given that 25% is appointed by the military, it's looking very much like the NLD is going to completely whitewash the election. So the government at the moment, the military-backed government, is worried about that. And so I see this release of political prisoners as an effort by them to position themselves as more on the liberal end of the spectrum, to try and seize some of the ground from the NLD, to undermine the standing that the NLD has at the moment. And of course, what we're seeing with Aung San Suu Kyi at the moment and the NLD is the rubber is meeting the road, if you like, because they've contested 42 of the 45 seats at the by-elections in 2012, and they are now in Parliament. They are now members of Parliament, of the Lutol. They are representatives of local electorates, and they are now having to deal with real issues. And Aung San Suu Kyi herself is butting up against the realities of domestic Myanmar politics.
OK, John Blaxland, very good to get your views. It seems Myanmar is at least moving in the right direction. Thanks very much for joining us there from Canberra.